In today's episode of the Pathwing Presents podcast, I got a very interesting guest here with me today. I'm with David Watson, who's hailing over from the folks over at RentVision. It's a dynamic apartment marketing system to basically helps you to deliver leases when you need them to save money for your operations. So basically, let's have a look. David, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, yeah. So maybe give people like a quick overview on RentVision. What is it all about in your own words?
Sure. Our mission is to make renting apartments easy. So that's our goal. We want it to be easy for our clients who manage apartments, and we want it to be easy for prospective residents renting apartments, because if it's hard for them, it's going to be hard for our clients to rent apartments. And probably the easiest way to give an overview is to just briefly cover the history. I started this company in 2009, but in 2008, I was running a property management company, and it was really hard to rent apartments. And several years before that, I was a leasing agent and drive around town to all these different apartments, and people didn't show up. And so I set out to invent an easier way to rent apartments, and we invented the walkthrough video in 2008 so people could walk around virtually of the apartment. And in 2009, I decided to start RentVision, and we started as a listing service with one website with all kinds of apartments on it, but really pivoted in 2012 and began building client websites and driving traffic to the websites of our clients and putting the walkthrough videos on their websites. And then we got into digital ads, where we run Google ads and Facebook ads to our clients' websites, and that morphed into predictive ads, where we drive traffic when you need it and save money when you don't. Because for your audience that's not in the multifamily business, what's different about multifamily versus selling shoes is if you're selling shoes, you want to sell as many shoes as you possibly can. You'll just produce more. But in apartments, if you have a 200 unit complex and it's full, you can't just build another unit. So marketing needs to be more dynamic, where it's turned on and turned off. And that's not a normal dynamic in a lot of industries. And then lately we've been getting into revenue management, where now we have a product that takes all our web data and predictive analytics and leasing data, and we're adjusting rental rates up and down automatically for properties in order to maximize the revenue. So in summary, we make renting easy by providing predictive marketing solutions and pricing or revenue management solutions, all for apartments.
Perfect. That is very clear. Maybe tell us a little bit more about a sweet spot customer. How do they look like? Tell us a bit more, sort of, what their traits.
Yeah. So our sweet spot customer would be property management companies running conventional apartments, and most of our clients are in the United States right now. And we typically target companies that have between 5 apartment communities that are, each community is at minimum 100 units. And they might be up to 50 or 60 apartment communities. That's kind of our sweet spot. Our product's actually really good for large companies too, but they typically have their own marketing firm and don't want to go through layoffs and let people go and replace them with our solution. So we tend to focus there as our bread and butter. And we've serviced smaller and bigger, of course, but that's really our sweet spot. And we can come alongside and partner with companies and fill in the gaps in their marketing and revenue management strategy that they don't already have in place and don't have a good solution going for. And they're going to find benefits from top to bottom in their company. Leasing agents will get more qualified leads, less unqualified leads. Property managers, same thing. Regional managers, marketing executives, and other executives like the automated performance, where things are just taken care of for them, and we're going to deliver consistently good revenue at their apartment communities.
Very good. Makes a whole lot of sense. Now, how do these guys learn about RentVision? How would you describe the journey? What channels are you guys leveraging?
Yep. So inbound and outbound and conferences. These are the three, kind of the three categories we look at. Inbound, running digital ads, driving people to our website, running SEO practices, driving people to our website, and then ensuring our website's got good messaging and is converting people to leads. That's been our number one channel of setting up discovery calls and running people through our sales process to win new deals. Second would be outbound, where we'll do cold emails, cold phone calls to a highly targeted prospect. We actually put a lot of work into and have our own algorithm to determine whether a company is a good fit or not a good fit, which really drives up the efficiency of our entire sales organization. So, and there's a lot of work to do outbound. So we want to make sure we're focusing on the targeted individuals. And then last would be conferences. We'll go to a handful of trade shows throughout the year, set up a booth. Ideally, I'd be speaking at it. Obviously, most trade shows I'm not speaking at, but that always tends to produce more business because our product is complex. And so it takes a little while to explain exactly what we do and the benefits, because people aren't used to hearing it. Predictive advertising is not a product they hear about every day. We invented that. So, or revenue management and doing pricing with web data, that's not something they've heard of. So that's probably the biggest uphill battle for us in sales, but those are the three channels. And the more we can educate people, the better.
Very good. Makes a whole lot of sense. Now, you mentioned the website plays a key role. Like, what would you consider a strength of the website today versus where do you see room for further improvement?
Yeah, so we've improved that over the last 6 months, actually. And I think we made a mistake where there was a little too much emphasis on branding. And we're too small of a company for branding. We're about 40 to 50 people, 40 to 50 full-time employees. And the multifamily industry is huge. Mm-hmm. So some people ask me, well, what percentage of market share do you have? I don't know, but I'm guessing it's less than 1%. Mm-hmm. And so branding doesn't win business. We've got to be focusing on the people more bottom of the funnel as a smaller company and being there at the right time and catching them. So I think our website has converted more from branding to better targeted messaging, mm-hmm. with what individuals need. And so that's probably been one of the strengths that we have now, and also one of the weaknesses that we really used to have.
It's very interesting. I would like to dig a little bit into that. You mentioned sort of the organization might be a bit too small for branding. What's your way of thinking? Because a lot of people would think you would have to build a big brand, even if you're a small company, you at least try to, a very interesting take that you have to. Can you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, I don't need to. I just don't think we have the resources to be known by everybody in the industry. Yeah. So I don't know how many people are in the multifamily industry, but it's got to be hundreds of thousands of people, if not over 1 million. Actually, probably is over 1 million. So it's just a huge number of individuals. And one of the toughest things in running a small business is you need to pick and choose where to allocate your resources. If you're not focused, you're going to lose. That's the bottom line. And so I want marketing to focus on sales, not on brand. I don't care about being known by lots of people. We care about getting contracts and being able to serve clients. So our marketing and sales departments actually used to be separated in our company. But what I found is marketing just focused on brand, and they wanted to be known and kind of, have a good look. And some of those things are important, right? We want our logo and our color scheme and our fonts and our website to look good. So those elements of branding are really important, and we need them to look good. The element of branding I'm talking about is investing in things to be known by everybody in the industry. Mm-hmm. That's what we're not going to focus on. Mm-hmm. And so I actually changed the structure of our company about 1.5 to 2 years ago. And I took our marketing department and our sales department and I merged it into one department called client acquisition. And there's one director over that department whose job is to acquire clients. And that has helped align marketing in with sales and focusing on the same objective of winning clients. And with that filter, it really drives decision making for our marketing team in a way that's helpful.
Very cool. Super interesting and really interesting take on that. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about your journey actually with the company, as we slowly sort of actually getting into the history there a little bit on how you shaped the company. First and foremost, I would like to know, you have of course tons of hats, right, for the company. What is it that you sort of would be engaged with currently? What are like big projects, or how should we imagine a typical day of yours?
Yeah. So I am a product guy at heart. I love building great products. I care about that more than growth. I've seen a lot of startups, they fail or they get private equity or venture capital and they focus on building their sales organization as big as they possibly can, and their product's terrible. I want to be known as having a great product. So when we win a deal, we service that client really well. Our company purpose statement is to consider others as more important than ourselves. And we can't live that out if our product isn't good. So I have focused for many, many years and always will on making sure our product is great. So I spent a lot of time on the product side, developing particularly the new products or updates or reporting or anything that has to do with the client experience and the client performance. I'm going to have my hands in pretty closely. And I happen to own a property management company as well that manages over 4,000 apartment units. So I understand the client really well firsthand, and that allows me to drive the product development over at RentVision. So heavy amount of product. Then currently I'm actually involved in leading our client success department, making some changes and pivots there to be more scalable and specifically to develop a little bit better educational materials for our clients that are a little more automated. But that also overlaps with product, because our product is continually educating clients on the performance of their communities and the things that they need to do or change that aren't even in our peripheral, not marketing or revenue management things, but it might be leasing areas like, hey, your phone calls aren't being answered, or your leasing agent's not doing a good job, and educating the client on that. So product and the client side is really where I try to focus as much of my time as I possibly can.
Very cool. Maybe if we talk about your history as a founder of the company, like what brought you initially to tackle that problem? I know you mentioned already you have another businesses in that realm, but maybe tell us a little bit about it's what, like 14 years nearly, or 13 and a half years of the company. That's quite a commitment for a certain industry and a product and the likes. Maybe tell us a little bit about how that initial decision making happened for you to focus on that.
So I was running the company that I still own today, and I chair the board for property management company called Century Sales and Management. And I was trying to improve leasing for our clients. I was trying to improve the performance of their properties. And there was a big issue in marketing and leasing. And the issue in marketing is how apartment shopping used to work is there'd be these magazines in the grocery store, and you'd pick one up on the way out, and there'd be one page for each apartment community. Mm-hmm. And then people got the internet and websites, and they took one page in the magazine and they put one page about the apartment community on the internet. And so you would see a few pictures of like the swimming pool and the fitness center, and you might see a kitchen, but you have no idea if that kitchen is the clubhouse kitchen or the 1-bedroom apartment kitchen or the 2-bedroom. And you didn't get any unit specific information. And I just looked at what I thought was obvious. That is, on your website, you can have as many pages and pictures and videos as you want, and it doesn't have the bounds that magazines do. But we took the boundaries of the magazine and we applied it to the internet. And so I just saw a huge opportunity there, and we began to create the walkthrough video, which was much harder back then than it is today. We had to learn to walk with the camera in our hands and have it be stable, so it wasn't bouncing up and down like you're on a boat. And then we had to change how the software ran on a camera, where essentially what HDR does today, where we took a 60 frame per second shot and we converted every other frame was a light frame and the other off frames were a dark frame, and we'd merge them together so we could get the lighting right. But this was really hard and complex, and then web development was really expensive. And so this is all in 2008. So then in 2009, I started RentVision in order to get more clients and drive more revenue, so I could really continue to elevate the professionalism of video and hire a whole software development team in-house to build our web platform and go from there. So in short, that's kind of a long story, but I was trying to solve a problem for my property management company or for my clients there. And that led to starting a business.
Very cool. So we have many founders listening in. What's your take on competition? You mentioned you're a small company in a larger pond. Like, how does a founder like yourself think about competition? Like, what's the angle that you keep in mind with when new players arrive in the market? What's your perspective on it?
If I'm totally honest, I spend very little time thinking about the competition. I'd rather focus on building the best product, and that's what's going to, keep us ahead. So, and we have to pick and choose anyways. And I find focusing on competition can distract a lot of people and get them to want to do more things than they're capable of doing as they try to be in the race to keep up. So I spend very, very little time on competition and more time on just building the best stuff that we can. The only difference might be is I like to build things that don't exist generally, rather than build things that do exist, because to fit our company purpose of considering others is more important. If I build something that serves a lot of value to people and it doesn't exist out there, I add more value to the end user than if I try to go head to head with somebody and play a cost game or something along those lines. I don't enjoy that anyways. I'd rather invent products than build things that already exist. So I just focus on creating the new as much as I can.
Very cool. Last question. If today would be your very first day working on RentVision, what's the one advice you would give yourself?
The one advice that I would give myself, probably remembering that resource constraints breed focus, innovation, and efficiency. So it's easy to forget that starting out, and I have to even continue today to remind people of that. There's a lie that people can believe, which you believe your problems will go away if you're 50 or 100% bigger. So, and then somebody always tells you your company is at a certain stage, and when you get to this next stage, that somehow miraculously everything will be improved. And that's just not true. I mean, when we were 5 people, I thought when we got to 10, it would be better. And when we were at 10, I thought when we got to 20, certain things would be better. And then, now 40 and 50, and there's always another stage. And so just to enjoy the journey with where you're at, focus on solving those problems. Don't compare yourself to others. And just what do you need to do to continue that steady progress? Because as soon as you start comparing and want to grow, usually you start to outweigh sales and marketing, and you underweigh the other areas of the business, and you get yourself into trouble. So just be steady and accept the beauty of resource constraints, because it causes you to innovate in greater ways.
Hey, thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathwing Presents.
Yeah, thank you.